What's going on, guys? So today we are back at RGR Motorsports here in Cumming, Georgia, and we are going to ride, oh, there's so many to choose from, I don't even know, but we're going to actually ride not one but two motorcycles today. And this was a great suggestion by the general manager here, who is Brendan. Come check him out for all your motorcycle needs, parts, accessories, and maybe even your next purchase. I said, hey, I know you guys have the Duke 690, and I love the Duke style, and I want to ride it. Do you have a Duke 390? I'd like to knock both of them out. He goes, no. I said, darn. He said, what I do have is the Suzuki SV650, because they are now a Suzuki dealer. Ride both and do a comparison video. I thought, wow, that's actually really smart. Without further ado, I'm actually going to hop on the Suzuki first. We'll hop on the KTM last, because the way I see it is the KTM's more money, so this should theoretically be better. The KTM doesn't have any gas, so there's the reason why. You guys know what we're about to do. We're going to check out both bikes in this clip. So first thing first about the Suzuki SV650, it has been around for a while, correct? But they quit making it, I believe, in 2009 in the US anyway, or 2012. I can't remember when they quit producing them in the US, but they brought it back, and it doesn't look too far off from the old SV650 with the round headlight styling, which I remember so much on the SV650. The very neat, very cool trellis frame that brings back a lot of the memories from the SV650, the old one. And I actually had a friend of mine that actually had one of these. It's a great beginner bike because it has power, yes, but yet it's an easy ride. And even the most advanced riders will actually take this thing to the track and even race it. And I didn't know this, but some people actually take a wrecked Gixxer and actually put a Gixxer front end on these things. So this actually has the right side up forks. Gixxers have the upside down telescoping. Specifications, it's a 645cc engine, V engine for that matter. So it has one cylinder going that way, one cylinder going that way. So it has a lot of grunt, has a real throaty sound to it. This particular model, and from my understanding, the red and black model currently is the only SV650, if you will, to have ABS on it. The other model does not, and it has two-piston Tokiko, however you guys say that. Brakes up front, also in the back, and this thing is supposedly going to stop on a dime. Now, a lot of cool new features with this bike. It's got a nice LCD display, very inviting and friendly. I like it a lot. And here's the coolest part about it. We don't even have to push the clutch in to start it. And you don't have to hold the starter button either. You just tap it and that thing will start, which is really cool. I love that feature. Just right off the bat, this bike has 0 miles. Let's just take a step back and just be in awe of what this bike is before we put the first mile on it. It also has a cool new feature that is, well, hello. It has a rider's assist when taking off. So when you let out on the clutch, it's actually a takeoff assist is what it's called. And it will actually open up an extra valve in the throttle body, I believe it is, and help the bike pull along. So I'm very excited to try that feature. Seat height on this thing is 31 inches. On paper, it's 30.9, pretty low. And I can sit really comfortably on it, and it sits really firm. It sits very sporty. And as far as the gas tank goes, they actually narrowed it on this particular model, so it's slimmer, so it's not as bulky and as wide and all that fun stuff. So it actually fits really narrow, so it makes it more, to the eye, it makes it feel more nimble. Let's take off with one hand. Let's try it. No way. That is super cool. And we've officially put the first mile on this bike, so if you guys come by this bike, just know I put the first mile on it and I did the break-in very professionally. Now we can absolutely light this thing up. I'm just kidding. I would not do that. It's really comfortable. It's very, very neutral, very centered. It's actually almost perfect. Oh man, that sound is awesome. And they redesigned the exhaust, not by much, but it is a 2-in-1, so it's actually more compact. It drops weight because it's not as much material anymore, and it makes it, oh man, it makes it sound really good. Oh man, that's real nice. You can actually sit centered, not move, and really just rail. And for a neutral sitting bike, this bike handles really darn good. Let's try the brakes real quick. Brakes work. They work good. The initial bite on the brakes are not that impressive. It really works into when it slows down. I really like this bike. Wasn't real too keen on it, you know. On paper you think, oh, this is cool, it's got some great things here and there, but until you ride it, it's nice because the low end RPM grunt just follows all the way into higher RPM, so it doesn't really matter what gear you're in. Well done, Suzuki. Well done. And you could almost make this, for those of you that are customizable keen, if you will, you can make this look like you know, a cafe racer, a street fighter, if you will. You track day guys, there's a company out that makes track fairings for this, and you can get clip-ons and all this other stuff and make this bike look very similar to that of like the MotoGP Suzuki bike. This bike is really universal. I know this bike is comparable to that of like the FZ07, but we're going to compare it to the Duke 690 today, because roughly, you know, on paper they are very similar as far as horsepower number goes, cc numbers go. Now there is a little bit of a price difference. The Suzuki rolls in at a price tag right at about $8,500, and I think it's a little bit more, or a little bit less, I believe, for the non-ABS model, and the exact numbers will be on the screen. The Duke comes in at about $1,500 more. Loose gravel, this is not good for a motorcyclist. I mean, who doesn't love that? I know why the SV650 is so loved. The big question is this a good beginner bike? Absolutely. Oh my gosh. This is a very well-rounded bike because advanced riders love it, beginner riders love it, and they've actually accommodated to the beginner rider on this bike. For the price range that it's in, the beginner buyer, I mean, you're almost getting a steal, because with the stall assist, with the brakes, with the power delivery, with the sound, with the LCD cluster, with all these little things that has made this bike more modern and made so much to like love, it's really hard to beat it. And that's where I think we're going to get on the Duke 690 and maybe see the performance differences in the price tag, and maybe we can justify buying that. So long Suzuki, and hello Duke. I probably might want to cut that out. This is a 2017 KTM Duke 690 in the KTM orange. The 2018-2017 model, they're pretty much the same. This bike also has ABS as well, which is disengageable, unlike Yamaha's or its Suzuki's or whatever have you. The ABS is non-disengageable, so that means it's always on. You can change the settings. No, you cannot change the settings on some of them. The KTM Duke 690 is a single cylinder engine, unlike the SV, so it's got a vertical engine design to it. 690 cc's per the name, makes roughly about 75 horsepower, I think it is. In Suzuki, you have 2 cylinders and make the same. This bike, this Duke, also just so happens to have a slipper clutch in this LC4 engine, which has been around for a while. So sure, you might think, God, $1,500 more for a KTM. Well, you get the WP suspension, telescoping forks, inverted, right? You get the ABS, you get the same horsepower, you get a 4-piston Brembo brake up front. I really think you pay $1,500 more than this to get this. Just on paper, it almost seems worth it. You've got the trellis tubular frame. The seat height is taller. This one is 32, almost 32, almost 33 inches. This bike also holds about 3.7 gallons of gas, which is great, so good for those long distance rides. Let's see if my tight jeans can get over it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is a little taller, much taller actually, just because of my jeans. But the dash is full color LED, I believe. Yeah, LED. I don't like how it's way up. Oh, it didn't give me the ready to race thing. That's kind of a bummer. ABS failure. Oh, that's. Oh, this sits straight up and down. This thing, it does have a little bit of an engine vibration. The gear selector's up pretty high, and then the rear brake lever's up pretty high. The KTM has a grunt, and it is dirty. Oh, it's yeah. And KTM makes a killer dirt bike. They've converted over with the Duke. The Duke is very dirt bike-ish, very upright. I mean, my back is literally straight up and down. My legs are low. It's like a supermoto. It feels very supermoto-ish without looking like a dirt bike. You'd never know. So the way this thing would handle and corner and pull is going to be way up here. The LED cluster is nice. I just wish it was pointed more up so the rider could see it. One thing this bike does not like is lower RPMs. But with it being dirt bike feel-ish, you know, dirt bikes have narrow seats. This does not. This actually has a very, I can't say very wide, but it has a wide seat where you sit, but where your legs are. And the fact this thing has a slipper clutch, could you imagine seeing someone back this thing in? And I want to ride this thing like a dirt bike. I don't want to ride this thing like a street bike. I want to put my foot out. Oh yeah, there's the wheelie. So which one do you guys like more? You like the dirt bike style of the Duke, or do you like the sporty touring cruisy style SV? You know, let me know in the comments below. But I really think it comes down to your riding style. Which one would you much rather prefer? Are you more casual and laid back and, you know, you like to go a little fast here or there? Or do you have a dirt bike background and you really like riding fast? I would personally go for the 690. Just because you've got the WP suspension right off the bat. You've got the Brembo off the back. You got a slipper clutch. You got a more intuitive dash. It's just... this bike is hard to beat. It rides more aggressive, yes. It's a little bit more, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just more, and if you don't ride aggressive, or if you don't, I think, want that, then I don't think you would like this bike. Is this a beginner bike? It can be. Would I recommend it for a beginner? Not really. Yes, it's comfortable. Yes, the seat's comfortable. Yes, you can go long distance. Yes, you can grow into it. Yes, it makes power. Yes, it's manageable. No, it's not pleasant. You have a pet, right? You can either have a cat, very graceful, comfortable, right? You know, elegant, right? That would be the Suzuki in this case. Or you could have a tiger, a liger, okay? We're talking a mix between a lion and a tiger, and it's just ready to go. It's cool. It's fun. It can pounce, but it's hard to tame. And that's how I feel about the 690. Is it something I could ride and race? Could I see this as the next purchase for me? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you're a beginner rider, I have to lean more towards the SV650 because it's so smooth. It's so just fine-tuned. Well, yeah, guys, that's it. That was the ride on the KTM 690. Very raw and rigid, but at the end of the day, you've got two amazing machines. And you just look at the Duke and you think dirt bike. You look at the Suzuki and you just think, you know, more of a sport touring bike. It's all in your preference. You're not going to go wrong with either or. But for the $1,500, the slipper clutch, the suspension, the brakes, kind of does it for me. You're not going to go wrong with either or. If you have any other questions that I didn't compare to each other, to each according bike, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the bikes. Let me know if you have the Duke or the SV. I know it's some of you guys have those, and if you're upgrading from a mini bike, I mean, either one of these options are going to be great. But each has their own personality. Each has its pros and cons. Let me know what you think, guys. Check out one of the videos on the end screen. Subscribe. Get you some merchandise as well. But most importantly, come check out RGR Motorsports here in Cumming, Georgia, and take one of these bikes off their hands. As much as they love to have them here, and as much as I like them to have them so I can ride them, they got to go and into your hands. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you later.